John Cena and Randy Orton were in a very bitter feud in 2009, so much so that during an episode of Monday Night Raw, John Cena confronted then-champion Randy Orton in the middle of the ring, and John Cena called Randy Orton a bully, and Cena told Orton that he was ready to beat him down live on Raw. Cena then lunged at Orton and pressed his body into Orton's body, and then Cena pressed his face against Orton's face, and this led to a very awkward moment between the two rivals, as John Cena accidentally put his nose between Randy Orton's lips, and Randy Orton's chin slipped between Cena's lips. Cena kept his face very close to Orton's face, and for a moment it looked like the two might kiss each other. It was very obvious that both were uncomfortable with what was happening in front of millions of TV viewers, so they quickly found a way out and pressed the top of their heads against one another, and this looked much less awkward than pressing their faces against each other and making it look like they were going to kiss. But this awkward moment will be remembered forever. In February 2020, Goldberg defeated The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, to win the Universal title. But 3 years earlier, the two rivals shared an awkward moment backstage. At WrestleMania 33 in 2017, Goldberg was a Universal Champion, and just before going out to wrestle Brock Lesnar, he walked into the backstage area, and as he walked in, Bray Wyatt was right in front of him, and instead of greeting Bray hello, Goldberg walked right past Bray without saying hello or even acknowledging his presence. A few seconds later, in the backstage area, Goldberg saw Triple H and greeted him hello and gave him a big hug. It's unknown why Goldberg ignored Bray Wyatt but said hello to Triple H. It could have been because Goldberg had already said hello to Bray Wyatt earlier in the day and there was no reason to do it again. Or it could have been that there was some sort of real-life animosity between Goldberg and Bray Wyatt, and both of them wanted absolutely nothing to do with each other. But no matter the reason for Goldberg ignoring Bray Wyatt, Goldberg got the last laugh and took Bray's title away from him. A very upsetting moment happened to Roman Reigns involving an angry fan. After Roman Reigns wrestled in a match, he was walking down the aisle, but then, all of a sudden, one of the fans shoved him in a very aggressive manner. Roman was shocked, and he then quickly made his way to the backstage area. After the fan shoved Roman Reigns, a referee who was right behind Roman immediately chastised the woman and yelled at her that what she did was completely inappropriate, and she seemed very upset by the referee yelling at her. Roman had another awkward encounter with a female fan. Roman was greeting fans in attendance, and he stopped to take a picture with one of them, but then the fan kissed Roman Reigns. Roman was stunned by the fan kissing him and moved away from the fan. And from her reaction after she kissed Roman, she didn't realize that kissing Roman without his permission was completely inappropriate. On WWE TV, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are supposed to still dislike each other, but in real life, the two are still best friends, and they even posted on social media that their on-screen feud is now officially over, and this was done so the friends can post pictures together and promote the business that they have together. And a few months back, the two best friends shared an awkward moment. The friends were hungry, so they stopped and bought a big donut to share. And instead of simply cutting the donut in half, they decided to eat it at the same time. And after they ate it, Sonya remarked that they got a little too close for comfort, while Mandy remarked that things got a little weird between them. Because they are just friends, and nothing more. During an episode of SmackDown, a shocking moment took place involving Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker's wife. In 2002, The Undertaker was in a heated feud with Brock Lesnar, and even though their feud was completely scripted, WWE did involve The Undertaker's real wife, Sarah, who was pregnant at the time, as part of the storyline. The Undertaker divorced Sarah a few years later and married Michelle McCool. And it was during a match between The Undertaker and Matt Hardy when The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar's feud boiled over. During the match, The Undertaker noticed on the large screen in the arena that the manager for Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, was backstage with The Undertaker's wife, as Heyman seemed to be coming on to her. When The Undertaker saw this, he immediately ran out of the ring to the backstage area, where he confronted Paul Heyman and pushed him away from his wife. But then Brock Lesnar showed up and ambushed The Undertaker and hit him with a chair. With The Undertaker unconscious on the ground, Brock Lesnar then turned his attention to The Undertaker's wife, Sarah, as it seemed that Brock had very bad intentions for Sarah, as he forced her back against the wall and put his hand on her pregnant stomach, as Sarah was very frightened about what Brock might do to her. Brock Lesnar stared at Sarah's pregnant stomach and then leaned his body into hers and put his face right next to Sarah's face and whispered in her ear a very rude remark as she was trembling with fear. He then started to back away from her, but then Brock made a sudden move like he was going to attack her, but it ended up that he was just trying to scare her as he walked out of the dressing room, and Sarah ran to her husband's side. What do you think about John Cena and Randy Orton's awkward encounter and Brock Lesnar's awkward confrontation with The Undertaker's wife? Leave a comment and give me your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And be sure to click the bell notification so you are notified when we release our next video.